It was over 50 years ago that I first heard the legend of the Shrouded Man. It was old Grandma Craven that first told me the story. The legend goes back many centuries to the days of the Aztecs and the Inquisition. The story tells of an evil priest, a man who had murdered countless innocent people in the name of the Inquisition. When the stories of the New World became known, the evil priest formed a horrific plan. Unlike most people of his century, the priest understood where smallpox and plague come from. The priest refined a compound he could carry onto a ship to be released in the New World. He then traveled to the New World with the conquistadors and his horrific biological weapon. Soon the plagues killed millions of Indians in Central America. This evil man was responsible for the fall of the Aztec Empire. As the conquistadors moved from village to village, they began to realize the sickness followed them. And as the conquistadors started to fall victim to the disease, they realized the old priest was responsible. And in the end, they abandoned the priest to die of the plague he himself had carried. And then death came for the priest. Not to release the priest, but to put him to work. Death had always existed, but the priest would spend the rest of eternity as the face of death. He would never know peace. His evil soul was damned to greet those who were dying. He would see their pain and feel their suffering as if it were his own. He would exist till the end of time, and mortals would pass him unseen with one exception, those who knew of his evil past. Through the centuries, the wretched creature roamed the earth. Few knew he existed, and few cared. And there were a few people that remembered his crimes, and passed on the legend as a lesson that justice can still happen after death. I was told of the legend by my grandmother. She was not afraid of death. Instead, she felt pity. She knew that she would have peace while he suffered on and on and on. She told me not to fear death. He can do no harm. And when he came for her, I was there, and I could see him. He felt her pity and paused. He had to take her, but hers was the only pity he had felt in many centuries. I was young and asked, "Is it my time too?" He shook his head no, and simply faded from sight. I have seen him countless times since. We all await his coming. Death, damned forever to greet the souls of the living. I too have come to pity death. He will know nothing but an eternity of pain and suffering. And when the day comes, when you must face death, remember that you should not fear him. Death will face eternity alone. Remember that death is merely here to release you from your earthly bonds. Your pain is over, while his goes on and on. And now that you know the legend, don't be surprised if you see death before your time. Don't be afraid. He's not your friend, nor is he your enemy. He is merely death, and he is waiting for you. Happy Halloween!